Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for this final lecture of the Cricket South Africa Level 1 Umpiring course hosted by Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. My name is Abdullah Steenkamp, and my usual batting partner for this evening will be Tom Okarosi. The format of tonight's lecture will be as follows. I will kick off and I will go through a few revision slides, and these revision slides will help you prepare for your exam that will start in a few days' time. After I've gone through those revision slides, I'll then hand over to Tom. Tom will then take you through a click-by-click demonstration on how the exam work, how to log on, he's going to cover one or two questions, show you how to answer these questions. Tom will then go through that demonstration. And then after that, Tom will then go through a few exam logistics, and then we will open the floor for Q&A. Just give me a second while I'm getting to my slides. Okay, I'm kicking off our revision session with Law 1 that covers the players. When it comes to the number of players, according to the law, match played between two sides, each of 11 players and one of them to be captain. The law allows for, and this needs to be an agreement before the start of the game, where the law allows for games to be played between sides of fewer than 11 or even more than 11, but not more than 11 players may field at any given time. So if before the game you do agree to play 15 a side, no issue, the law allows for that. But when it comes to fielding, only 11 players are allowed to field at any given time. You cannot have all 15 players fielding at the same time. When it comes to the nomination and the replacement of players, each captain needs to nominate his or her players, and this nomination needs to be in writing, and it needs to be handed to one of the umpires either before the toss or even at the toss, no issue. On the right is an example of a nomination sheet that we use here in Cape Town, South Africa, in club cricket. We hand this to the captains when we get to the field, and captains then needs to complete this and needs to hand it to us either before the toss or latest when they get to the toss. They need to hand the completed nomination sheets. Does the law allow for players to be changed after the nomination took place? Yes, the law allows for a player to be changed after the nomination took place, but there's one condition, and that condition is you need the consent of the opposing captain before the player can be changed. So practically what will happen, let's say a player breaks his or her arm while busy with the warm-ups after the toss. Captain then comes to you informing you, umpire, my player just broke his arm. Can we replace this player? Your response will be, yes, the law allows for the player to be replaced, but it's not our decision. Let's go to the opposing captain, and he or she needs to give consent. If they do, we can replace the player. If they don't, unfortunately, we then cannot replace the player. When it comes to the appointment and the attendance of the umpires, two umpires to be appointed, one from each end, and umpires needs to be at the ground at least 45 minutes before play is about to start. So if play starts at 10 o'clock on day one, umpires needs to be there by 9:15 latest. Are you allowed to change an umpire after the game has started? Yes, the law allows for it. An umpire can become injured or ill, or there could be exceptional circumstances. If that is the case, let's say umpire gets injured, the law allows for that umpire to be changed, but there is a condition that the law puts in place, and that condition is, so if you are going to allow to change the umpire, that the replacement umpire only to stand at the striker's end, unless both captains agree that this replacement umpire can take full responsibility. If both captains agree, umpire can then stand at the bowler's end, but otherwise the replacement umpire to stand at striker's end only. Who are the judges of fair and unfair play? Is it the captains, the coaches, umpires, and they are the sole judges of fair and unfair play. When it comes to the fitness of play, who decides whether the field or conditions are fit to play? Again, the law leaves it solely for the umpires, and they together needs to decide whether conditions of ground, weather, or light, or exceptional circumstances mean that it would be dangerous or unreasonable for play to take place. When it comes to when play was suspension of play in dangerous or unreasonable conditions, according to the law, if one umpire feels that conditions are dangerous or unreasonable, play shall be immediately suspended. According to the law, you don't need both umpires to agree that conditions are now dangerous or unreasonable. You only need one umpire to think it is too dark, and conditions according to that umpire is that it is now dangerous or unreasonable. And if that is the case, then play to be suspended immediately. Where do the umpires stand? When it comes to the bowler's end umpire, the law just guides us, telling us bowler's end umpire needs to stand in a position not to interfere with the bowler's run-up or with the striker's view. That's all. That doesn't say you need to stand a meter, meter and a half, 2, 3 meters behind the stumps. All the bowler's end umpire needs to do is not interfere with the striker's run-up or bowler's run-up or striker's view. But when it comes to the striker's end umpire, here the law is specific. The law tells us that striker's end umpire needs to stand on the onside, needs to stand on the leg side of the pitch, depending on the type of striker, whether it's right or left-handed. So law is clear. Strikers in must stand on leg side or onside. But the law also allows, because there are instances where the umpire needs to go stand on the offside. What are the examples of instances where the umpire needs to stand on the offside? You can have fielders crowding the bat, short leg slips, all standing, fielding around the bat. The umpires at the on the leg side not able to see the stumps or the popping crease. In that case, the law allows for the umpire to go stand on the offside. But if the umpire do decide to go stand on the offside, there are three people that needs to be informed, and they are: you need to inform the captain of the fielding side that you, the striker's end umpire, is going to stand on the offside. You need to inform the striker that you're going to stand on the offside. And lastly, you also need to inform your colleague that you're going to stand on the offside. So when it comes to striker's end umpire standing on the offside, you need to inform three individuals: fielding captain, striker, and your colleague. When it comes to the scorers, preferably two scorers to be appointed, and What are the duties of the scorers? They need to record all runs scored in the game. They need to record all wickets that are taken and the number of overs bowled. These are the three duties that the scorers needs to do. It's important that scorers sits next to each other. Why? They frequently need to check that their books balance, their records agree. That's why they need to sit next to each other. Also, when it comes to acknowledging of signals, they need to acknowledge each signal separately. There will be times of a single ball where there's more than one signal. Let's say it's front foot no ball hits the pad and goes, a batter playing a shot and goes over the boundary. Now there's three signals. Firstly, the no ball. The scorers needs to acknowledge that no ball signal. Then the bowlers and umpire will signal leg byes, and then the scorers needs to acknowledge the signal. And then lastly, boundary 4, and again, scorers needs to acknowledge the boundary 4. When it comes to the ball, and in specific, the new ball, and when is the fielding side allowed to take a new ball? After 80 overs. After 80 overs in a more-day game, the option is there for the fielding captain to take a new ball. Captain does not have to exercise the option. The option is on the table. If the captain feels like he or she wants to continue bowling with the current ball, absolutely no issue. But after 80 overs, the option is on the table for the fielding captain to take a new ball. When it comes to the bat and the bat sizes, the law guides us. When it comes to the overall length of the bat, all the law tells us is the overall length of the bat not to be more than 96.52 centimeters. When it comes to the blade, the width 10.8 centimeters, depth 6.7 centimeters, and the edges 4 centimeters. When it comes to the creases, how many creases are there? There are 3 creases. There is the popping crease, there is the bowling crease, and then there are 2 return creases. It's I can tell you now, they love asking the names of the creases in the exams. They love asking measurements. So I'm giving you an exam tip. Know your names of your creases. Popping, bowling, and 2 return creases. So now we know their names. What are their lengths? Let's start with the popping crease. There is a minimum length for the popping crease, and that minimum length is 3.66 meters. Minimum length. So technically the popping crease can go from right up until the boundary on the one side and till the boundary on the other side. But all the law tell us minimum length for the popping crease 3.66 meters. When it comes to the 2 return creases, there's also a minimum length of 2.44 meters. Again, popping crease, return crease, a minimum length can go right up until the boundary, but the laws just tell us what the minimum needs to be. And then lastly, the bowling crease. Here there is an exact length, and the exact length of the bowling crease is 2.64 meters. Let me give you an exam tip and what you need to look at. They're going to give you a diagram in the exam. Please take note of the arrows. Look at where the arrow starts and where the arrow ends. I'll give you an example with the bowling crease. If you look at where this arrow starts, it starts at the inside edge of the one return crease and it ends at the inside edge of the other return crease. the length that they're looking for is the full length of the bowling crease, which is 2.64 meters. If in your exam, if you look at the diagram, and the diagram shows, and you look at the arrows shows, let's say it ends here, the one return crease, and then the arrow ends at the middle stump. So now what they're looking for is, they're not looking for the full length of the bowling crease. They're only looking for half the length of the bowling crease. So just look at the arrows. If it's for the bowling crease full from inside edge of the one return crease to the other, they're looking for the full length. If it only goes up until middle stump, they're looking for half. Same principle will apply to the popping crease. Look at the arrows. And just a tip how I memorize the length of my creases. I use this length, this 1.22 meters, which is from the back edge of the bowling crease up until the back edge of the popping crease. That length, if I multiply it by 2, I get 2.44 meters, which is my minimum length of my return crease. If I multiply 1.22 by 3, I get 3.66 meters, and that is the minimum length of my popping crease. So I use this one length to derive the measurements of two other lengths, i.e. the return creases and the popping crease. So when it comes to the preparation and the maintenance of the playing area after the game has started, the law wants the pitch and the outfield to be mowed on each subsequent day that play is expected to take place. So after the game has started, day 2, pitch and outfield needs to be mowed. Similarly, day 3, day 4, day 5, if your game is a 5-day test match. What are the timing of these mowing? When it comes to the mowing of the pitch, needs to be done 30 minutes before play is about to start. So if our test match on day 2, let's say starting time is 10 o'clock, the pitch needs to be mowed by 9:30. So yes, you can mow the pitch 9:25, no problem. 9:20, no issue. 9:10, no issue. As long as it's done not later than 30 minutes before play is about to start. So that's mowing of the pitch. When it comes to mowing of the outfield, can I ask everyone please to mute their microphones? I can hear background noise. Please be so kind to mute your microphones. Mowing of the outfield needs to be done 15 minutes before play is about to start. So if play starts 10 o'clock on day 2, 9:45 mowing of the outfield needs to be done. When it comes to rolling of the pitch, and we're focusing on the frequency and the duration of the rolling. So this is again after the game has started. So in our test match, day 1 starts at 10 o'clock. So as soon as that first ball gets bowled, now the law guides us in terms of rolling of the pitch. So when it comes to rolling of the pitch, it can now only be done before the start of each subsequent innings and also before the start of each subsequent day's play. And then also the duration, not more than 7 minutes. So can a captain roll for 5 minutes? Yes, the captain can. Can the captain roll for 3 minutes? Yes, 1 minute, definitely. Can the captain roll for 8 minutes? Definitely not, because the max time for rolling is 7 minutes. So the rolling between, when there's a change of innings, there's a 10-minute change of innings. So that rolling will happen in that 10 minutes. And in terms of the timing of rolling before the start of each day's play, there's a 20-minute window period. On day 2, if play starts at 10 o'clock, The window period for rolling before the start of day 2 will be 9:30 and 9:50. Anytime between 9:30 and 9:50, pits can be rolled before the start of day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. When it comes to intervals, according to the law classifies the following as scheduled intervals. These are examples of intervals that are decided before the game started. So what are these? What are examples of these scheduled intervals? Firstly, period between close of play on day 1 and the start of the next day's play. That's a scheduled interval. Your interval between innings, scheduled interval. Your interval for meals, like your lunch or your tea interval. Another example of scheduled intervals. Interval for drinks, also a scheduled interval. And lastly, any other agreed interval. These are the 5 scheduled intervals as per the law. When it comes to the duration of your intervals, usually the governing body of cricket for the competition decides how long these intervals should be. All the law tell us is that whatever the duration is, and let's use lunch as an example, in test matches, lunch is 40 minutes. So all the law tell us is when will that 40 minutes start and when will it end. At 40 minutes, your 40-minute lunch will start as soon as the umpire calls time to indicate it is now lunchtime. Let's use it's 12 o'clock is lunch. Umpire look at the watch, seeing it's 12 o'clock. Final ball gets bowled of the over. Umpire calls over, time in lunch. The first ball after lunch needs to be bowled at 12:40. Interval between innings, according to the law, 10 minutes. The law brought in time-saving mechanisms into your interval. It brought in flexibility into our intervals where it allows us to maximize play. And when it comes to our interval between innings, interval between innings, the law tells us that if an innings ends 10 minutes or less to the close of play time, it will then be close of play at that particular time. Even though you finished earlier, you will not start earlier the following day. I'll give an example just to illustrate this. Day 1, close of play is 5 o'clock. At 16:52, South Africa gets dismissed. So what happens next? Because it is less than 10 minutes to go till the close of play, it will be end of day's play at 16:52. Yes, even though we ended 8 minutes earlier, law tell us we will then not start 8 minutes earlier the following day. When it comes to the flexibility that the lawmakers brought into the tea interval to just allow for us to maximize play during the day. So if an innings ends when 30 minutes or less to go to our tea interval, we will take our tea interval immediately. An example of point number 1 is let's say our tea is at 3 o'clock. At 14:40, South Africa gets dismissed. What happens next? Because this South Africa's innings ended 30 minutes to 20 minutes to go to tea, and this is 30 minutes or less, we will take tea immediately. Tea will be from 14:40 till 1500 hours, and we will include the change of innings into our tea interval. Point 2, when 30 minutes remains before the agreed time for the tea, there's already an interval in a change of innings interval in progress. Play needs to resume at the end of the 10-minute change of innings interval. An example to illustrate this, our tea is at 3 o'clock. At 14:25, South Africa gets dismissed. So can we take tea at 14:25 when South Africa gets dismissed? No. If point 1 tells us innings needs to end 30 minutes or less. In this example, the innings ended 35 minutes to tea. So now we will take a change of innings interval from 14:25 until 14:35, and we will then play up until 3 o'clock and take tea at 3 o'clock. Again, another time saving mechanism that the lawmakers brought into when it comes to our lunch or our tea interval. When a side is 9 wickets down, but the side must be 9 wickets down. And if a side is 9 wickets down and we get to our lunch or our tea time, we can delay or we need to play on for a maximum of 30 minutes. We'll allow the fielding side to see whether they can take the final or the 10th wicket within this 30 minutes. If they can take it within the 30 minutes, we'll then have tea at that time. If they can't, we need to take tea after 30 minutes. I'll give an example just to illustrate what the theory means. Let's say our tea's at 3 o'clock. Same principle will apply to lunch, but I'm just using tea as an example. Tea is at 3 o'clock. We get to 3 o'clock. Final ball of the over gets bowled. Umpire look at these or her watch. They see it's 3 o'clock. But South Africa is on 400 for 9. What happens next? Now the law tells us, yes, it is 3 o'clock, but we will not take tea at 3 o'clock. Why? Because South Africa is 9 wickets down. We need to delay tea for a maximum of 30 minutes. We will give the fielding side the opportunity to try to get the 10th wicket. So if they can get the 10th wicket, let's say they take the 10th wicket at 10 past 3. We will then take tea at 10 past 3. Tea will be from 10 past 3 till 15:30. And if the fielding side cannot take the 10th wicket in the max of 30 minutes that the law allows. So now we get to 15:30, end of the over, and South Africa is still 9 down. Now the law tells us, no, now you need to take tea at 15:30, and tea will be from 15:30 up until 15:50. When it comes to our interval for drinks not to be more than 5 minutes according to the law. So the flexibility that the lawmakers brought into the drinks interval is that if a wicket falls or a batter retires 5 minutes to drinks, we will take drinks immediately. I'll give you an example. Let's say our test match drinks is at 11 o'clock in the morning. At 10:56, South Africa lose a wicket. Let's say they lose their third wicket at 10:56. So what happens next? To save time, the lawmakers tell us because this is within 5 minutes to drinks, we will take drinks at 10:56. But it must be within 5 minutes to drinks. When it comes to the completion of an over, and this is now not referring to the end of the game, if the agreed time for an interval is reached, before we take the interval, we first need to complete the over. We'll often find, let's say we get to 12 o'clock, it's now time for lunch, but we're only midway through the over. So what do we do? Do we take lunch, even though only 3 balls in the over was bowled? No, the law tells us, first complete the over, and then you take the interval. There is an exception, and what is this exception? If with less than 3 minutes to go, a batter is dismissed or a batter retires. And if that happens, you will now take lunch. I'll give you an example to illustrate this. Let's say our lunch is at 12 o'clock. At 11:58, South Africa's 4th wicket falls. So what happens now? We will now take lunch at 11:58 because this is less than 3 minutes to go to our lunch. We will, and a wicket fell, we will take lunch. Lunch will then be from 11:58 up until 12:38. When it comes to the innings and the toss, who needs to be at the toss? Where does the toss needs to take place? And what is the timings of the toss? So let's first look at who needs to be there. Both captains needs to be at the toss. And then preferably both umpires, but the law allows for sometimes maybe an umpire gets stuck in traffic. The law allows for at least one umpire to be there. But in terms of presence at the toss, both captains, and at least one umpire. Where does the toss take place? Anywhere on the field of play, anywhere inside the boundary. Yes, we know traditionally, if you see on TV when tosses takes place, it takes place on the square right next to the match pitch. That's traditionally or customary, but according to the law, anywhere on the field of play. What are the timings of the toss? There's a 15-minute window period, 1 5 minute window period. And this, if I give an example to illustrate this 15-minute window period, let's say our test match on day one starts at 10 o'clock. Toss needs to take place anytime between 9:30 and 9:15, 9:45. 15-minute window period. As soon as the toss is done, captain winning the toss needs to notify the opposing captain immediately whether they're going to bat or field. When it comes to the follow on, in a 2 innings match of 5 days or more, like Test match cricket spans over 5 days, if a side that bats first and they lead by at least 200 runs, the captain do have the option of asking the other side to follow on. We all know not all matches spans over 5 days. There are more day cricket that spans over 3 or 4 days. So what should the minimum lead be if it's a 3 or 4 day game? 150. If it's a 2 day match, 100. And in a 1 day match, 75 runs. Again, as soon as the captain uh, decides that the other side should follow on, they need to notify the opposing captain, and once that decision has been made, cannot be changed. So what happens if the first day's play is lost? And the emphasis here is on the first day's play is lost. So the law tells us if a first day's play is lost, let's use a test match as an example, no play takes place on day number one. Let's say the range for the whole of day number one. And play will only start on the morning at 10 o'clock on day number two. Now the law tells us because we lost the whole of day one, no play took place on day one. Now when it comes to the minimum lead in terms of the follow on, we now need to look at the remaining days left in our test match, which is 4, and we now need to look at what the minimum lead should be for a 3 or 4 day game, and you can see it is 150. But it must be no play took place on the first day of the Mode game. In my example, the test match must be we lost the whole of the first day, and then we look at the remaining days. When it comes to the declaration, who declares an innings? The captain of the batting side may declare the innings closed whenever the ball is dead during that innings. Captain of the batting side to declare the innings closed. The law allows for a captain to forfeit either of their side innings, and that forfeiture needs to happen before the commencement of that innings. And as soon as the captain decided to declare or to forfeit, once that decision has been made and the opposing captain has been notified, that decision then cannot be changed. When it comes to the over, the law wants overs of 6 balls to be bowled alternately from each end. When do the overs start? An over starts when the bowler starts his or her run up. When the bowler gives his or her first step, that is when the over starts. If the bowler does not have a run up, the over then starts as soon as the back foot lands. When it comes to boundaries and identifying and marking the boundaries, Wherever practicable, the boundary shall be marked by the means of a continuous white line or by a continuous object in contact with the ground like a rope. So if the boundary is marked by a white line, the edge of the line nearest to the pitch shall be the boundary. If we are going to use flags or posts or boards or cones to mark the boundary, these flags, posts or boards merely to highlight the position of the line marked on the ground, and they must be placed beyond the boundary. So if there is a line, the inside edge nearest the inside edge, that is where the boundary is. There's a picket fence, inside edge, or the edge nearest to us. Rope, inside edge, or the nearest edge to us. Not the furthest one, not this one here, this nearest one, the inside one. Similarly with post and flags. When it comes to dead ball, I'm just going to focus on 3 examples when the ball automatically becomes dead. The ball automatically becomes dead when it finally settles in the hands of the wicketkeeper or of the bowler. Ball automatically becomes dead when it finally settles in the hands of the keeper or the bowler. Ball automatically becomes dead when a boundary is scored, and ball automatically becomes dead when a batter is dismissed. There are 8 ways the way a ball automatically becomes dead. There are 14 ways where the umpire needs to call and signal dead ball, but I'm just going to focus on these 3. When it comes to no ball, and in particularly the feet, let's start with the back foot. The law wants the back foot to land within and to not touch the return crease. When it comes to the front foot, the law wants some part of the front foot, whether grounded or raised, to be behind the popping crease. Or the front foot needs to be on the same side of the imaginary line joining the 2 middle stumps. Let's look at a few pics to illustrate how the law works. Let's start with the front foot. If we look at the front foot, the law wants the front foot, whether grounded or raised, to be behind the back edge of the popping crease. So this is the right arm bowler bowling over the wicket. So we're happy with the front foot. The law wants the back foot not to touch the return crease. In this pic, because the back foot is touching the return crease, it's going to be a no ball. Front foot. Is the front foot behind the back edge of the popping crease? Yes. Back foot. Is the back foot touching the return crease? No, it's not. That's why this is a fair delivery. This is left arm bowling around the wicket. Let's look at the front foot. Is there any part of the front foot whether grounded or raised behind the back edge of the popping crease? Yes, there is. So we're happy with the front foot. Excuse me. Back foot. Is there any part of the back foot touching the return crease? No, it's not. That's why this is a fair delivery. Again, left arm bowling around. Front foot. Any part of the front foot whether grounded or raised behind the back edge of the popping crease? Yes. So we're happy with the front foot. Back foot. Is the back foot touching the return crease? Yes, it is. That's why this is a no ball. Back foot. Is the back foot touching the return crease? No, it's not. So we're happy with the back foot. Front foot. Is there any part of the front foot whether grounded or raised behind the back edge of the popping crease? Yes, you can see there is still a portion behind the back edge of the popping crease. That's why this is a fair delivery. Back foot, we're happy. It's not touching the return crease. Front foot. Is there any part of the front foot whether grounded or raised behind the back edge of the popping crease? No, there's not. That's why this is a no ball. Back foot, we're happy. It's not touching the return crease. Front foot, any part of the front foot whether grounded or raised behind the back edge of the popping crease? No, it's not. That's why this is a no ball. I want to emphasize we need to look at the first landing of the front foot and not where it ends up. Let's say if this was the first landing of the front foot, where you can see there is a portion of the heel behind the back edge of the popping crease, and let's say that front foot slides and it ends up here, that will be a fair delivery. Why? You need to look at first landing. And if this was the first landing, this is a no ball. But if this was the first landing, and that front foot then after the first landing slides and ends up here, it will be a fair delivery. You need to look at first landing and not where it ends up. Back foot, we're happy, it's not touching the return crease. Front foot, is there any part of the front foot whether grounded or raised behind the back edge of the popping crease? Yes, there is. That's why this is a fair delivery. Back foot, we're happy. Front foot, you can see there's no part of the front foot whether grounded or raised behind the back edge of the popping crease. That's why no ball. The law also wants the front foot to be the same side of the imaginary line. If it goes over on the other side, it will be a no ball because the law sees this as bowler changing mode of their delivery. If you can just visualize, this is a left-arm bowler bowling over the wicket. Just see where that front foot lands. It's landing right on the other side of the imaginary line from middle stump to middle stump. And because of that, this is a no ball. Can I ask everyone to please mute their microphones? Thank you. We're still under the no ball law. What happens if a ball bounces more than once or the ball roll along the ground? The law wants the umpire to call and signal no ball if the umpire considers that the ball bounced more than once. Not more than twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. The law only wants the ball to bounce once. If it bounces more than once before reaching the popping crease, either umpire to call and signal no ball. Although the striker's in umpire is in the best position to call this, but either umpire can call it. But emphasis here on ball bouncing more than once. If it bounces more than once before the popping crease, call and signal no ball. Also, if the ball rolled along the ground before reaching the popping crease, call and signal no ball. Or if the ball pitches wholly or partially off the pitch before reaching the line of the striker's wicket, call and signal no ball. When it comes to wide ball and the calling and the signaling of wide, if the umpire adjusts the ball or the delivery to be wide, umpire needs to only call and signal wide as soon as the ball passes the striker's wicket. Don't be in a hurry to call wide. Delay your call. First, wait till the ball passes the striker's wicket. And once it passes the striker's wicket, then you can call and signal wide ball. However, technically, according to the law considered the ball to have been wide from the instant that the bowler enters his or her delivery stride. So that's technically according to the law when the ball's wide already, when the bowler enters his or her delivery stride, i.e. when that back foot lands, that's when that ball technically is wide already. But in terms of calling it, first wait till it passes the striker's wicket, then call and signal. Why to not count as one from the over? Or one of the valid balls of the over. And lastly, under the wide law, how can you be dismissed of a wide? There are 4 ways to be dismissed of a wide. What are they? Firstly, hit wicket. Secondly, obstructing the field. Thirdly, run out. And lastly, stumped. These are the only 4 ways how you can be dismissed of a wide. When it comes to substitute fielders, umpire to allow a substitute fielder if the umpire is satisfied that the fielder has been injured or ill And importantly, this injury or illness happened during this particular game. So if that is the case, umpire to allow a substitute. Also, for wholly acceptable reasons, umpires to allow a substitute. What powers does the substitute have? Substitute cannot bowl, substitute cannot bat, substitute cannot captain. So technically, substitute can only field. But the law allows for the substitute to act as the wicketkeeper, but they need permission of the umpires before they can be a wicketkeeper. So when it comes to a fielder absent or leaving the field of play, so what happens? Before the player leaves the field of play, umpires, either of the umpires needs to be informed and the reason why they're leaving. So let's say John needs to come to you, umpire, my hamstring, I need to get treatment. You'll take out your notebook, you write down John leaving the field of play, hamstring, and importantly, you need to write down the time that John left. Then importantly, before John can come back onto the field, John needs to inform the umpire and gets permission before he can come back on. Why is this important that you need to know when John is back on? We'll see in point 3. Because as soon as John comes back onto the field, you need to write down the time that John came back onto the field. So why is this time important? So remember in point 1, you wrote down the time John left. In point 2, you're writing down the time John returned. Now point 3, before John is allowed to bowl, he needs to be on the field for that same amount of time that he was off, up to a max of 90 minutes. So if John left at 10:30 and he came back at 11 o'clock, so he was off for 30 minutes, John can only bowl at 11:30. He needs to field for 30 minutes before he is allowed to bowl. But there's a max of 90 minutes that the law allows for penalty time that a fielder can serve. Penalty time doesn't disappear, it gets carried forward into the next day, into the next innings. Yes, you won't carry it forward into the next match, but you will carry it forward into the next innings and into the next match. Sometimes players do go on and off quite a few times. You will add up all those times that the player goes off. You'll add them all up. And the player needs to serve all that penalty time before he's allowed to bowl. When it comes to a scheduled interval like your lunch or your tea or your change of innings, you will not add this to any penalty time that a player serve, nor will you subtract a lunch interval or a tea interval from any penalty time that a player might owe us. When it comes to appeals and the timing of the appeal, for appeal to be valid, it needs to be made before the bowler begins his or her run-up. Or if there's no run-up, the bowling action to deliver the next ball and before time has been called. So you can see in terms of the validity of an appeal must be made before the bowler begins his or her run-up for the next ball. So there's actually quite a long validity period for your appeal. Also, the call of over does not invalidate an appeal. As long as it's made prior to the first ball being bowled of the next over or the start of the next over, and importantly, time should not have been called. We're now going to do a few of the dismissal laws, starting with the court law. Let's look at an animation video.
Fair catch. A catch shall be considered fair if the ball is held in a fielder's hand, hugged to the body of the catcher, or accidentally lodges in his or her clothing, helmet, or protective equipment. But of course, this being cricket, it isn't always that simple. If a fielder deliberately uses an item of clothing to try to catch the ball, it is not out, and 5 penalty runs are awarded to the batting side. However, the ball can be caught after it has deflected off the other batsman, an umpire, another fielder, including off a helmet being worn, or even if it lodges in a fielder's helmet. Perhaps the main criterion for a catch to be considered fair is that the ball must not touch the ground before being caught. Here, for example, the ball does not touch the ground even though the hand holding it does so in effecting the catch. This is a fair catch. And then there is the question of catches near the boundary. This is such an interesting subject that we've given it a film all of its own. To catch up on everything to do with catching, simply refer to Law 33.
So how many runs scored if a batter is out caught? No runs to be scored if a batter is out caught. And caught to take precedence. When it comes to the mode of dismissals, who is boss? Who's number one? Bowled is always number one. And who's number two? Caught is number two. When it comes to leg before wicket, let's start with the animation video.
Leg before wicket. LBW. LBW is a little like the offside rule in football. Many people claim to know it, but how many people really do? Our handy checklist means that whether you find yourself umpiring an international test match or the kids on the beach, your reputation for fairness will remain intact. There are 5 basic criteria to consider. The batsman is out, leg before wicket, if 1. The bowler bowls a ball that isn't a no ball, unlike this poor fellow. 2. The ball, if it is not intercepted on the full, pitches in line between wicket and wicket or on the offside of the batsman's wicket. It cannot be out if the ball pitches outside the line of the leg stump. 3. The ball hits the batsman either full pitch or after pitching and before he hits it with his bat. 4. This is where it gets a bit more complicated. If the batsman was making a genuine attempt to play the ball, the point of impact must be between wicket and wicket for LBW to be an option. However, if the batsman has made no genuine attempt to play the ball, the contact must either be between wicket and wicket or outside the line of the off stump. 5. This is the crucial part. But for the interception by the batsman, the ball would have gone on to hit the stumps and dislodge the bails. Any questions? Just refer to Law 36 in the Blue Book.
So just to recap, according to the law, the points that you need to consider: ball not to be a no ball. It needs to pitch in line between wicket and wicket or on the offside of the wicket. That's why if it pitches outside leg, can never be out. Should not have touched the bat first. If the ball touched the bat first, can never be out LBW. But if the ball touched the pad first, then the bat, then you can consider the LB. But there's other things that you also need to take into account. Striker intercepts the ball with any part of the person. Point of impact is between wicket and on a wicket. And there's one exception. Unless the striker has made no genuine attempt to play at the ball with the bat, then the impact can be between wicket and wicket or on the offside of the wicket. And then lastly, would have gone on to hit the wicket. So let's apply the law to a few examples. I mentioned earlier, soon as the ball pitches outside leg stump, can never be out LBW. Let's just go through the law in terms of pitching. It needs to pitch in between wicket and wicket or on the offside. This ball pitches between wicket and wicket, so we're happy with the way it pitches. Impact needs to be between wicket and wicket, and yes, the impact is between wicket and wicket. And then lastly, in your opinion, would this have gone on to hit the stumps? If yes, give the striker out, LB. If not, then not out. Where did it pitch? It can either pitch between wicket and wicket or on the offside. It pitched on the offside of this right-hander. Where's the impact? The impact is not between wicket and wicket. The impact is outside off or outside the line and the striker is playing a shot. And because the impact is outside the line, can never be out LBW. The law wants the impact to be between wicket and wicket. But remember I said there is a but, and that one but is if the striker did not make a genuine attempt to play at the ball with the bat, like in this example, the striker shouldering arms. So here the ball pitch outside off, impact was outside off, but because of the no shot, you now can consider this LBW appeal. But you still need to, that final point of LBW, in your opinion, do you think it would have gone on to hit the stumps? If yes, give the striker out LB. If you don't think this ball would have gone on to hit the stumps, then not out LBW. Pitching between wicket and wicket, so we're happy with the way it pitched. Impact between wicket and wicket, so we're happy with the impact. Would it have gone on to hit the stumps? It's your opinion. If you think yes, give the striker out. If no, they're not out. We've covered now instances or the law that we need to take into account when considering LBW appeals. But when it comes to LBW, there are also other factors that you do need to take into account. And I'm going to cover one or two of those factors. If you can visualize this being a left arm bowler bowling over the wicket to this right-handed batter. So if you look at where the ball pitched, you can see it pitched between wicket and wicket. Impact is between wicket and wicket. But do you think this ball would have gone on to hit the stumps? Taking into account where the batter is standing, the stride the batter got in, I don't think so. I think this ball is missing off stump. So the point I'm trying to make is, yes, you take the law into account, but there's also other factors that you do need to take into account. Similarly with this LB, look where the ball pitched. We're happy with the way it pitched. The impact is between wicket and wicket. But look at the amount of deviation of the pitch. Striker playing forward. Look at the travelling distance. Still a long way to travel. I think this is missing leg. Similarly, we were happy with the way it pitched on the offside. It did hit between wicket and wicket, but look how high on the flap it hit. So I think this is going over the top. The penultimate law that I'm covering before handing over to Tom is stumped. Let's look at an animation video.
Stumped. All batsmen fear being stumped, and all wicket-keepers dream of stumping batsmen. So let's be clear about the law. The only player who can stump a batsman is this fellow, the wicket-keeper. A stumping can take place provided that the ball is not a no ball. You can be stumped off a wide, however. Here, for example, the batsman has moved out of his or her ground to play the ball, but has missed it and has not attempted a run. The wicket is fairly put down by the wicket-keeper without the intervention of another fielder. When all these conditions are met, the batsman will find that he or she has indeed been stumped. It's also okay for the ball to rebound onto the stumps off any part of the wicket-keeper, including his or her protective equipment or helmet. If it is a no ball, the batsman will not be out-stumped and is also protected from being run out as long as he or she is not attempting a run. Don't be stumped about stumping. Get a copy of the Blue Book and study Law 39.
And the last law that I'm covering is the timeout law. So after the fall of a wicket or the retirement of the batter, the incoming batter, unless time has been called, needs to be ready to receive the ball within 3 minutes of the dismissal or retirement. Within 3 minutes. And if this requirement is not met and on appeal, incoming batter to be given out, timed out. Tom, thank you so much. That's all revision material that I'm covering. Handing over to you.
Thanks very much, Abdullah. Good day to you and good day to all the candidates. I am sure that the revision slides that Abdullah has taken us through will help you in your exam. So you should be as prepared as you can be for that when it comes. I'm now going to look at the course in terms of what happens next. So today we are here, lecture 7 on Monday, the 11th of August. Abdullah has taken us through revision slides, and I am now going to take you through the exam logistics as well as an online demonstration of how to go through your exam. Abdullah, if you can please help to mute all candidates so that there are no disturbances for the rest of the presentation. Exam fees are payable on or before next week, Monday, the 18th of August at 6 p.m. South African time. That is the same time that the lectures start. What are the exam fees? The exam fees are 300 rands for candidates in South Africa. If you are not in South Africa, the exam fees are $30 or 600 South African rands. The payment methods have been emailed on all lecture reminder and all course material and logistics emails that I've been sending out. The payment by candidates in South Africa needs to be via electronic funds transfer to the standard bank account of Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. The $30 can be paid using a payment link via PayPal, or if you do not know anyone or do not have a PayPal account yourself, you can WhatsApp or email me to ask for the bank account details of a bank account which receives international wire transfers. I will only be sending the bank account details of that bank account on individual requests. So those of you who pay, please make sure that you send your proof of payment to training@wpcua.co.za. I do not have access to the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association bank account, so I am unable to check on that account who has paid. The only way that I know that candidates have paid for the exam is if they send a proof of payment to training@wpcua.co.za. The email address that sends the proof of payment, that will be the email address which the exam link emails are sent to. If you are paying for more than one candidate, when you send your proof of payment to training@wpcua.co.za, please list the other email addresses that need to be sent exam link emails to. So group payments are welcome, but when you send the proof of payment to training@wpcua.co.za, you need to list the email addresses that are being paid for. People ask, when is the exam and where can I write? How long do I have? The online exam has a 10-day window period, which will open on Tuesday, the 19th of August at 9 a.m. South African time, and will close on Thursday, the 29th of August at 8:59 a.m. South African time. You will have up to 5 attempts to achieve the pass mark of 80% in those 10 days. Please note that if you achieve the pass mark on your first attempt, your second attempt, your third attempt, or your fourth attempt, you will not receive more attempts to try and improve your mark. As soon as you pass the exam, that will be the last attempt that you are allowed. In the exam, there are 69 true or false and multiple choice questions. And as mentioned, you have up to 5 attempts to achieve the pass mark. A little exam tip from my side. I know Abdullah has given you a few already this evening. When you are answering a true or false question, if the statement is not 100% true, then you need to mark it false. Okay, remember that for your exam, and we will be going through an introduction to umpiring exam where we will have 35 questions. All of you will have an opportunity to answer a question coming up after these couple of slides. And we will get to practice there how to answer true or false questions. Just remember, if a statement is not 100% correct or 100% true, then you should mark it false. You will see as well when we go through the online exam together that the results of the exam or the results of every attempt are displayed immediately on the website after each attempt. And if you pass, then your certificate will automatically be emailed to training@wpcua.co.za. I will commit to forwarding all certificates that I receive within 24 hours of you passing to the email address that you registered the exam on. Please, if you finish your exam at 2 a.m. South African time, that certificate will be sent to training@wpcua.co.za. I will only see it the next morning when I wake up. So that is why I am committing to forwarding it to you within 24 hours of you passing. It can be quicker than 24 hours, but please don't expect it immediately when it is an odd time of the day for me. Very importantly, if you want to start umpiring after you pass Cricket South Africa's level 1 umpiring exam, when I forward you your certificate, I will ask you on the email, where do you live? What town, what province, what country do you reside in? And based on that town or city, we will find the contact of the Umpires Association closest to you. And at the end of the exam period, the exam window period closes on the 29th of August. That evening, that night, Thursday, the 29th of August at say 7 p.m. South African time, I will email a list of contacts of Umpires Association for all of those towns or cities that people have asked for the Umpires Association. Quite often what happens is, if I've got a list of 15 different umpires associations in 15 different towns or cities, somebody will reply to that email saying, you forgot to mention the Umpires Association in my town or city. The reason I won't mention the Umpires Association in your town or city is because you would not have asked for the contact details of the Umpires Association in your town or city. So please, when I send you your certificate, I will ask for your town or city. If you reply to that email mentioning your town or city, then on the 29th of August, your town or city and the Umpires Association closest to it will be listed on that email. If you do not ask for your town or city's Umpires Association, you will not be on the list. So please, that is how you will be able to start umpiring in a formal capacity. What about level 2? Level 2 will start on Monday, the 1st of September, 2025. All level 1 passes will be emailed a course material and logistics email a week before the first lecture. So if I look at my calendar, that will be on Monday, the 25th of September. All level 1 passes, Monday, the 25th of August, all level 1 passes will be emailed the course material and logistics email. And of course, if you pass after the 25th of August, you will receive that course material and logistics email for level 2 as soon as you pass. Okay, so that is what is happening over the next couple of weeks in terms of the logistics for the course and the exam. Let's take a closer look at what the exam logistics look like. So those of you who have paid the exam fee, and there have already been a few of you who have paid, thank you so much for sending through your proof of payments to training@wpcua.co.za. You remember the deadline for payment is Monday, the 18th of August at 6 p.m. South African time. So those of you who have paid will receive 2 emails from Umpires Universe on Tuesday morning, the 19th of August, 9 a.m. South African time. The first email will say, welcome to Umpires Universe. It will have your name at the top of the email, and it will have a login address that you just need to click on to go to that website. You will be given a username, which is your email address, and you will have a password that you will use to enter the exam portal. The other email that you will receive from Umpires Universe will be to mention that you have been enrolled in a new course. The Umpires Universe has got plenty of different courses, not just cricket courses and exams on there. I think they've got hockey courses and exams as well. So this second email is just to inform you that you have been registered or enrolled into Cricket South Africa's level 1 exam. And if you do not receive this second email, it means that you won't have an exam waiting for you on your dashboard. But as far as I've been promised by Umpires Universe, all of you will receive both these emails on Tuesday morning so that your window period starts then and will run for 10 days, where you will have up to a maximum of 5 attempts to achieve the pass mark of 80%. Please, ladies and gents, do not wait until Thursday, the 29th of August at 8 a.m. to attempt your first exam. Make some time in the first week that you receive, that the window period opens on the 19th, 20th, or 21st of August. At least try one attempt in the first 3 days. Also, if and when you do not pass, say for example, you get 72% on your first attempt, we advise that you do not rush back into the exam and try a second attempt immediately. You will be fatigued, your brain will be frazzled, and the questions will be the same 69 questions, but they will be in a different order to what you have just answered them. So it is a good idea to give yourself and your brain a rest. Try again the next day after having gone through the revision slides, which Abdullah has just taken us through. And those revision slides I will also send via email to everybody tomorrow morning so that you can use them to study for the exam. And you remember, it is an open book exam. You can use your law book. You can refer to the revision slides while you take your exam, but make sure that you complete your exam. It's a 90-minute limit to complete the Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam. Don't take more than 90 minutes, because at 90 minutes, the website will automatically close your exam and submit only those answers that you have attempted up until 90 minutes in your exam. You will see that there is a countdown timer that you can refer to at all times to make sure that you complete your exam on time. So let us now look exactly as to what that exam looks like. And I am going to open up my particular dashboard on Umpires Universe and show you how easy it is just to click on the links and get to your start of your exam. So let me share my entire screen, and I will go and click on Universe, or at least filter to. So here I click on the second email that I would have received. You have been enrolled in a new course. Actually, the best is to click on the first email that you receive. Welcome to Umpires Universe. And because you will need your username and your password. So you click on the link to the website. And because I have logged in before, it automatically comes to the dashboard. I don't have to log in again. Let me log out, and then I will show you how I log in, and this is how you will log in. So your username is your email address that you sent your proof of payment with. So I'm just going to copy that, and then the password I can copy as well and paste it. And it's a good idea to keep yourself signed in so that you don't have to sign in every time you come back to the website. Sign in and it will take you immediately to your dashboard. You will notice that I am enrolled for 2 courses. You will only be enrolled for 1 course. You need to go to enrolled courses, and here you will see what courses you are enrolled for. I am enrolled for the level 1 umpiring exam as well as the introduction to umpiring exam. Obviously, I cannot show you the questions in the level 1 umpiring exam, so we are all together going to go through the introduction to umpiring exam. So we click on start learning, and what I think is the most important part of this particular setup is before you start the exam, you need to include or select your region. So how we select our region is top left hand of the screen. We clicked on select our region or select your region, and I think maybe I need to go click on start quiz, because there should be a drop down list of all 16 Cricket South Africa provincial associations. Let's see if when I click on start quiz, then that list will appear. Yes, it does. Okay, so now very important. There, as I've mentioned, there are 16 provincial umpires associations in South Africa. No matter where you are in South Africa and no matter where you are in the world, please, for purposes of this exam, you all need to select Western Province. Even if you're in Durban, even if you're in Johannesburg, even if you're in Klerksdorp, even if you're in Port Elizabeth or Gqeberha, please click on Western Province. Why should you click on Western Province for this exam? Is because your certificate will be sent to the head of training of the provincial association that you select. So if you select the Orland as your provincial association, then your certificate, when you pass, will not be sent to training at wpcua.co.za. It will be sent to the head of training of Boland Cricket Umpires Association. I do not know all the head trainers of all the provincial associations, so your certificate will be lost. It will take us a few days to track down who it was sent to, and you will get frustrated, and it will be adding extra work to myself and Abdullah to try and track your certificate. So please, no matter where you are in the world and no matter where you are in South Africa, you need to select Western Province as your provincial association so that your certificate, when you've passed, is emailed to training@wpcua.co.za. Thank you. Once you've done that, then you can click on submit quiz, and that hopefully should start our quiz. Please do not skip that question. You need to answer it. So then it will come to your dashboard of that particular exam, your exam will show up here, level 1 umpiring exam. And we need to simply, if you've made more than one attempt, it will show your first attempt and exactly how far you have gone with that attempt or not. So I am going to start the exam, and for revision purposes, I'm going to ask that you all join me in helping to answer these 35 true or false questions. If I click on next, then you will see the introduction to examination exam screen. It tells us that there are 35 questions. We have 30 minutes to attempt them, and we have not attempted it yet. We have a maximum of 5 attempts. The pass mark, similar to the level 1 exam, is 80%. So Abdullah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask all the candidates who would like to join in this exam for revision purposes to put their hands up when they think they can answer a question that appears on screen. And you, Abdullah, can facilitate who answers which question when. And ladies and gents, you will see that I'm closing all other web browsers. This is to make sure that the internet is used entirely for this exam, so that when you submit your answers, it does not hang and take up too much time, because you will see that there is a time limit for the exam. So we are going to start quiz, and remember that for the introduction to umpiring exam, there are 35 questions. They are all true or false. Here is our time in the top right-hand corner, counting down from 30 minutes down to 0. For the Cricket South Africa Level 1 online exam, there will be 69 questions, and the time will count down from 1 hour and 30 minutes. Abdullah, first question. Injured player may have a substitute at any time. True or false? Remember what I said? If a question is not 100% true, then mark it false. Abdullah, I see a few hands have come up. Who was first?
Yes, Tom, they were quick on the draw. Even before the questions popped up, I saw a few hands already
Yes.
up.
Good.
I love the enthusiasm. Quickest on the draw was Ichsonola Dainis. Can you unmute your microphone and give us the answer, please?
True. My answer is true.
Isanullah, an injured player may have a substitute at any time. I think that is true. I will go with you.
Okay.
Maybe the full answer is an injured player may have a substitute with the approval of an umpire, but let's mark it true and let's submit and go next. We will get our results at the end of the 35 questions. Thank you for being involved in the course. Next question. Umpires do not need to agree the boundaries with the captains. Abdullah, I see a few more hands flashing.
Yes, Tom, lots of hands. Sundaresh, I see your hand was raised first.
Yeah, the answer is false.
That is false, Sundaresh. Umpires do need to agree the boundaries with the captains. So we will submit and go next.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tom, before you give the next question, those that have answered the question already, can you please give the others an opportunity? If there's no one else, we will then come to you. But otherwise, I will look for hands that hasn't answered any questions yet. Over to you, Tom.
Thanks, Dula. Question number 3. The pitch length is the same for all ages. True or false? Please, new hands.
Rifat is a new hand, Tom.
Rifat, go ahead.
Pitch length is the same of all ages. It's false.
That is false, Rifat. For junior ages, pitches can be less than the 20.12 meters of senior lengths of pitches. Question number 4. The call of no ball shall override the call of wide. Let's look for some new hands, please, Abdullah.
Yes, Azan, new hand.
The answer to this question is yes. The call of a no ball overrides the call of a wide.
Thank you, Azan. Very confidently answered. True is indeed correct. Question number 5. A batter will be stumped if the wicketkeeper kicks the ball onto the stumps. That's an interesting mode of dismissal. Abdullah, new hands, please.
Matepe.
Yes, true.
That is true, Matife. Well done. Yes.
The answer on my behalf. Yes, I want to say true because yeah, it can come off any body part of the wicket keeper.
Correct. Including the helmet. Well done.
So since the answer for me, can I still raise my hand or do I have to wait again?
Oh, somebody else answered for you. Sorry.
Yeah, someone has said true before me. That's why I motivated my answer. Okay, that's
okay.
fine. I'll stand back.
All right. Yeah, please stand by. Maybe after 30 or so questions, we can take answers from old hands. Abdullah, question number 6. A substitute may act as a wicket keeper. True or false?
Dafita, can you unmute your microphone and give us the answer, please?
The answer is true.
Dafita, that is indeed true. Well done. Thank you. Moving swiftly along. I must say, Abdullah, this new website, it doesn't hang between questions. It goes very quickly to the next question. So people shouldn't struggle for time. Question number 7. The umpire to call wide before the ball passes the striker's wicket. Interesting one. True or false? New hands, please.
Simpi. Ans, can you unmute your microphone, please?
Can I answer you?
No, I'm going to give Van Nistelrooy a chance. Van Nistelrooy?
False.
That is false. Even though the ball is considered to be wide, as soon as it leaves the bowler's hand, we need to wait until the ball passes the striker's wicket before we call wide. Well done. Thank you. Next question. The ball becomes dead when it lodges in the clothing of an umpire. Abdullah, any new hands, please?
No new hands, Tom. Let's just give it a few more seconds. Okay, no new hands, Tom. I'm going to go to Sundaresh. Can you give us the answer, please?
It's true.
Indeed, it is true, Sundaresh. Law tells us that whether played or not, if the ball becomes lodged in the clothing or equipment of a batter or the clothing of an umpire, the ball automatically becomes dead. Submit and next. No runs will be scored if the batter is run out on the 3rd run. Abdullah, please, any new hands for question number 9? I see a lot of old hands. Oh, I think there's a new one.
Chaitanya.
False, false.
False. That is correct, Jatenya. Of course, the 2 runs that were completed will be scored. Only the 3rd run will not be scored because the batter was run out attempting the 3rd run. Question number 10, or statement number 10. An umpire may signal 4 byes in one motion to the scorers, as I am doing at the moment. Any new hands for this one, please, Dula?
Not yet, Tom. Just give me a few seconds. I know I'm going to get a new hand. No new hands, Tom. So I'm going to go as quick as on the draw. Yeah, I see a new hand. Abid Ali. Can you unmute your microphone and give us the answer, please, Abid?
False.
False, Abid. Quite correct. We need to signal each signal individually and get acknowledgement from the scorers before we signal the second signal. So 4 byes would be a signal of byes first, and once the scorers have acknowledged that signal of byes, then we may signal boundary 4. So that will be in 2 different signals, not one motion. False. Submit and next. The umpires must give the batter out LBW when no shot is offered. Abdullah, umpy, no shot, umpy.
Buffer King, can you unmute your microphone and give us the answer, please? True or false?
That's false.
That is false, Buffer King. We can consider giving the batter out LBW, but of course it depends on whether we feel the ball will go on to hit the stumps if it were not for the interception of the person of the striker. It is not a must. Right. Statement number 12. The bowler's end umpire to stand anywhere that he or she feels comfortable. Doesn't matter if you stand in the way of the bowler's run-up. Abdullah, any new hands for that one, please?
Not yet, Tom. Matepe, you didn't get the opportunity earlier. I'm going to give you the opportunity now. So Matepe, can you unmute your microphone, please?
False.
That is indeed false, Matepe. The Lord does say that we need to stand, yes, where we are comfortable, but it needs to not disturb the striker and not be in the way of the bowler. So well done. Submit and next. Statement number 13. Umpires before the toss do not need to determine the times of play. Abdullah, any new hands for that one? Has Van Nistelrooy answered a question yet?
Yes, Tom.
Okay.
False.
Okay. Please all wait for Abdullah to prompt you to answer the question. But yes, umpires do need to determine the times of play at the toss, so that is false. Statement number 14. A batter may be given out leg before wicket if the ball pitches outside of the leg stump. One of the LBW laws coming through here. Any new hands?
Yes, Prince Obeng, can you unmute your microphone, please, Prince?
That's false.
That is indeed false, Prince. If the ball pitches outside leg stump, the striker should not be given out LBW. Statement number 15. The umpire must only consider the first interception when answering an LBW appeal. True or false? Quite a few questions on LBW in the introduction to umpiring course. Abdullah?
No new hands, Tom. The usual suspects.
Mm.
Okay, I'll give it a few more seconds. Okay, Tom, I don't see any new hands. Quickest on the draw was Sundaresh.
It's true.
That is true, Sundaresh, quite correct. The umpire must only consider the first interception when answering an LBW appeal. Statement number 16. A batter can be dismissed from a wide delivery. True or false?
I see a new name, Bahadur Niazi. Can you unmute your microphone and give us the answer, please? Bahadur? I see
Hello,
you
sir.
all. Yeah, we can hear you now.
It's
Can you
true.
give us the answer?
True.
That is true indeed. There are 4 ways that a batter can be out dismissed, and I will not waste any more time on that question because there's 15 minutes left. Statement number 17. Teams can distract opponents verbally. Is this allowed? True or false? Any new hands, please, Abdullah?
I've got my 6 regulars, Tom. That's quick on the draw.
They are ready for the exam.
Yeah, they are definitely ready for the exam. I don't see any new hands. I'll have to go to who was quickest, Tom. Pafo King, can you unmute your microphone, please?
That's false.
That is false. We haven't necessarily covered it in our 40 laws. It's in law 41. Deliberate distraction of a opposition player is not allowed. Statement number 18. The bowler then umpire to call and signal no ball if more than 2 fielders are behind the popping crease. Now, this is a good true or false question, and I would like an explanation from whoever answers this particular statement. True or false? New hands, please, Dula.
No new hands, Tom. My 6 regulars. So let's give it a few more seconds. I don't see any new hands, Tom. I'll go to quickest was Azan. Azan?
The bowlers and umpire cannot call and signal no ball if more than 2 fielders are behind the popping crease. I have a question here. If bowler and umpire thinks that more than 2 fielders are behind the popping crease and batter gets out, can he consult with his square leg umpire that 2 fielders were and you can give no ball?
Okay, so firstly, we need to read the entire statement. The statement says bowlers and umpire to call and signal no ball if more than 2 fielders are behind the popping crease. It does not mention whether they're behind the popping crease on the leg side or behind the popping crease on the off side. So is this statement 100% true?
Can I answer you?
Yes, please.
Bowlers and umpire to call and signal no bar if more than 2 fielder behind the popping crease only on the one side. So it is false.
It is false because this statement is not 100% complete. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
this is what I
Yes.
mentioned before we started these questions. Okay, so now I'm going to answer the question of the candidate who initially was supposed to answer this statement. If the bowler's end umpire does not see that there were more than two fielders behind square on the leg side, and then a striker is out caught, and then the striker complains that there were more than two fielders behind square on behind the popping crease on the leg side, then should they consult, the two umpires consult? Firstly, it is mainly the job of the strikers and umpire because they can see the field better than the bowlers and umpire can see. And it is not written in the law, but the way that we judge it in Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, or at least the process that we follow, is that either umpire can call and signal no ball if there are more than two fielders behind the popping crease on the leg side, but they need to make that call before the ball is dead, because especially when a batter is out caught, there will be celebrations and fielders will be moving around quickly to go and celebrate with the bowler and the fielder that caught the ball. So it will be very difficult for either umpire to determine when the ball was bowled whether there were more than two fielders behind the popping crease on the leg side or not. So you've got a small window period from the time that the bowler starts running in. That is when the two umpires need to communicate between each other as to whether the field is correct or not. If it is not correct, then as soon as the ball is delivered, then either umpire shall call and signal no ball. If they only realize it when the batter is walking off because he or she has been caught, I'm afraid that is too late because the fielders have moved around and you cannot be 100% certain that there were more than two fielders behind the popping crease on the leg side when the ball was delivered. Okay, we've taken up way too much time answering that question. We're going to move on. Statement number 19. The bowler's end umpire to call play after any interval or interruption. True or false? Any new hands, please, Abdullah?
No new hands yet, Tom. My usual suspects. Give it a few more seconds. Okay, no new hands, Tom. Quickest on the draw was Rifat.
True, true.
That is true, Rifat. Quite correct. Statement number 20. An appeal covers all ways of being out. An appeal covers all modes of dismissals. True or false? Any new hands, please, Abdullah?
Not yet, Tom. Okay, no new hands, Tom. Azan was quickest. Azan, unmute your mic or stay on to, please.
True.
That is true. Quite correct. Well done. Let's move swiftly along. 7 minutes left. The dead ball signal is made by extending both arms horizontally. True or false? Abdullah? That's a pretty straightforward one. I'll be very disappointed if anybody gets that one wrong.
Just give it a few more seconds for a new hand, Tom. No new hands. No new hands, Tom. So quickest was Ihsanullah.
Yes, sir. Dead ball is signal made by extended both arms horizontally. It is the signal of the wide ball. Dead ball is by crossing and recrossing wrist below the waist. So my answer is false.
Well answered, Ishnullah. Thank you. Next statement, captains are responsible for their team's conduct. Abdullah, has Chaitanya answered a question yet?
Yes, he did, Tom. But he was quickest. So let's just give it a few more seconds. I don't see any new hands. So Chaitanya, you were quickest on the draw. What's the answer, please?
True, sir. True.
That is true. Captains are very much responsible for their team's conduct and behavior. Moving swiftly along, a leg bye can be scored if the batter did not attempt to play the ball. True or false? Any new hands, Abdullah?
No, Tom. Let's give it a few more seconds. No new hands, Tom. I'm gonna go with quickest. Azan, you were quickest on the draw.
Yes, a leg bye can be scored if a batsman doesn't attempt to play ball. If he tries to avoid injury, a leg bye can be scored in that case. So my answer would be true.
Again, let's look at the statement on its own. A leg bye can be scored if the batter does not attempt to play the ball. Is that 100% correct or not?
It's not 100% correct.
There we go. So let's mark it false. I think the website will tell us at the end which questions we got right and which questions we got wrong. So we will look at that one closely. Thank you. Next statement. A bowler may change his or her delivery mode without informing the bowlers and umpire. True or false? Any new hands, please, Abdullah?
No new hands, Tom. My regulars and Sundares were quickest on the draw, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, it's false.
That is false. If a bowler does change his or her mode of delivery without informing the umpire, we shall call and signal no ball. Statement number 25, 4 minutes to go. An umpire may give a batter out without an appeal. Interesting one. Abdullah, any new hands?
My regulars, Tom.
Hmm.
And I'll stick to my policy, which was quickest on the draw, Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy, can you unmute your microphone and give us the answer? If not, Rashid, can you give us the answer, please?
False.
That is correct. An umpire should only give a batter out on appeal. Thank you. Statement number 26. A fielder may return to the field without the consent of the umpires. True or false? Any chance of any new hands this late in the day's play, Abdullah?
Yes, Tom. Ududu. Ududu's a new hand. Well done. Unmute your microphone, please, Ududu, and give us the answer.
The answer is false.
The answer is indeed false. Fielders need to inform the umpires, or they need the consent of the umpires to come back onto the field. Question number 27. A striker may set for a run from in front of the popping crease. True or false? Any newcomers, Abdullah? Any other newcomers?
I'm holding my breath here, Tom. I believe in there's going to be a newcomer. Come on. Tom, unfortunately not. No new hands.
Okay.
I'm going to go quickest on the draw, Azan.
Azan, apologies. I've just lost my... There we go. There's the exam. A striker may set for a run from in front of the popping crease.
He can set off for a run in front of the popping crease. True.
That's true. Correct. Okay. We've got less than 2 minutes left. Let's see how many more answers we can get in. A bowler will be credited with a run-out dismissal. True or false? Abdullah, I think we can go for old hands in the interest of time.
Sundaresh was quickest. Sundaresh?
It's false.
That is false. Bowlers do not get credited with the run-out dismissal. A team can field with 12 players. True or false? Abdullah?
I'm still hoping for a new hand, Tom, but no, it's not coming. I'm going to go this Matepe.
False.
False. A team can play with more than 11 players, but a maximum of 11 can field at any one time. Okay, we've got 45 seconds left. This will probably be our last answer submitted. The umpires are the sole judges of fair and unfair play. True or false? Abdullah, who's going to be the last person to give us an answer?
Abid Ali, can you give us the answer, please?
It's true, sir.
It is indeed true, Abid, and we might have time for one more answer. 12 seconds left. A batter will not be given out if the ball touches an umpire. Interesting one. Anyone want to give us our last answer? We see that our time has expired, so we cannot submit. We now... This is the first time I'm doing this on the new website, so let's see if we can submit an answer. Abdullah, any new hands or an old hand to give us the last answer?
Ududu, can you give us the answer, please, Ududu?
It's false.
It's false. A batter can be given out if the ball hits an umpire and carries on to another fielder to be out caught. So let's click on submit and next and see what happens. Okay. Interestingly, it's not giving us our result yet. Let's maybe carry on to submit the 35. Abdullah, we've got 4 more answers. Bowler's back foot may touch the return crease on delivery. I don't want to click on a reattempt yet. I want to see what happens if we get to 35.
Okay, Prince, can you give us the answer, please?
I think I heard false there. I'll submit and next. It is not against the spirit of the game to dispute an umpire's decision. True or false? Abdullah, who are we going to ask to help us?
Titania, can you give us the answer, please?
False, sir.
False. It is against the spirit of the game. Second last question. A batter may retire at any time during his innings. True or false? Interesting one, that.
Ihsanullah, can you give us the answer, please?
My answer is true.
Isanula, I think the law says a batter may retire at any time during his innings when the ball is dead.
Yes, yes. When the ball becomes dead, a batsman may retire at any time during his innings.
Correct. So because that sentence on its own is not 100% true, I'm going to mark it false.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Last question. A change of innings will be classified as an interval. Last answer, please, Abdullah.
Okay, Rifat, can you give us the last answer, please, Rifat?
It's true.
It is true, says Rifat, and I agree with you. And now let's see what happens if I submit quiz. So the circle that we see turning around tells us that they are currently calculating our marks. They ask for this course to be rated. And before I forget, we have our own course evaluation form, which I have put the link into the chat box. Please, it will take you 2 minutes to complete. Just before the end of this lecture or just before you leave the meeting, if you can please take the time to complete the evaluation form. It is completely anonymous. We like to improve on our courses, and the way that we are able to do that is by getting feedback from all of you in terms of the different categories in the evaluation form. So please take the time to evaluate our course, and we'll make sure that when level 2 comes around in September, we've taken note of all your constructive feedback. So I'm going to click here and say update review. Okay, we need to say something. Very good exam. And then once we do that, hopefully it will give us our results. Your rating will now be visible in the course page. Okay, that's fine. Let us see. Okay, so it tells us that we have completed it. Does it tell us our result? It just says view certificate. Let me click on view certificate.
I don't think you'll get a certificate if you didn't pass, Tom.
That's correct. So this is not the complete certificate. This, I think, is the certificate that is just saved on the website. The Cricket South Africa Level 1 certificate, I will share with, I will find it and share it with all of you. But yeah, I'm surprised that it does not tell us how many questions we got correct, but the fact that it is showing us a certificate means that we probably got more than 80% of the questions correct. So what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try and go to the last certificate that I received from Umpires Universe, which was a candidate by the name of Jamie Behrens. So here I have received an email from Umpires Universe saying congratulations on finishing introduction to umpiring. We hope that you had a great experience. Please ensure to download your certificate. So this is all new to me. Apologies for not knowing exactly what was going to happen. But yes, this just shows a blank certificate. So I will go to the certificate I received from Umpires Universe a couple of weeks ago. And show you what the Cricket South Africa Level 1 certificate looks like. Course completion certificate looks like this. Level 1 umpire certificate with your name on it and the Cricket South Africa match officials manager's signature on it, Mr. Niels Momberg, the date on which you completed your exam and passed your exam, and it has a certificate number on there. So as far as I know, let me check training.co.za, training at wpcua.co.za. As far as I know, the certificates are meant to be emailed to that website, but it doesn't seem like they have been. So I think the certificates are not set up correctly yet for the introduction to umpiring course. So apologies for not seeing how the process works exactly for the Cricket South Africa Level 1 umpiring certificate, but this is what it looks like. This is what I will receive on the email address training@wpcua.co.za, and that is what I will forward to all of you. So ladies and gents, thank you very much for your participation in our introduction to umpiring exam mock exam. And now I will go through the chat box for all the questions that have been posted while Abdullah and I were presenting. So the first question is from Azan. If a batter does not attempt to play a shot, neither does he try to avoid injury. The ball hits his pad first and then hits his bat. Will runs be allowed? Abdullah?
Yes, Tom, we'll allow the runs. We'll even allow the dismissal as well. If the shoulder arms and it pops up and it goes against your bat and you get caught by, let's say, the silly point, you'll be out caught. Over.
Yes, because as soon as the ball hits the bat, it does not matter if it hit the pad. It does not matter if the batter was attempting a shot or not. Runs can be scored because the ball has hit the bat or the bat has made contact with the ball. Thanks, Dula. Next question. Does the umpire keep a bat gauge in similar to what they do in the IPL for more day games? And how often does a bat need to be checked in a more day game? Abdullah, you want to take us through process of bat gauge checks, specifically in more day cricket?
Yes, Ans. I'm going to start at the highest level. So in Test match cricket, what happens is that, let's say the game starts, day one is on the Monday. So obviously the teams will be there a few days, 4 to 5 days before, up until maybe a week before the game starts. They'll acclimatize. They'll have net sessions and fielding sessions. Similarly, the umpires will also be there a few days before the test match starts. So what the umpires do is they will attend net sessions. So leading up to the test match, let's say test match starts on a Monday, let's say the Wednesday or the Thursday, Friday, teams will have net sessions, morning or afternoon. There'll be a schedule when the various teams will have a net session, when they'll have fielding sessions. Umpires will be aware of these, when these sessions will be. Umpires will then join the teams in these sessions. The on-field umpires, they will also have net sessions. So while the teams are bowlers are busy bowling to the batters in the nets, the on-field umpires will actually stand in those nets and also get batting practice in or get their eye in. So while they're doing that, the fourth umpire will then do his or her equipment checks. So they'll check the pads, they'll check the bats, randomly. They will have a bat gauge with them, and they will randomly check many of the players' bats. They'll start with obviously with the top order, and excuse me. So that is what the fourth umpire will do, and the fourth umpire will do it for both sides. So yeah, that is usually what happens before a test match. Before the game starts, these equipment checks gets done, and so once the game has started, there's nothing stopping the umpires doing, regular, checks. The fourth umpire, even on field, if the umpires visually can see that a baddie looks a bit thick, the umpires can at any time ask the fourth umpire just to go double check whether that bat goes through the gates. So that usually what happens at international level, where the fourth umpire does these equipment checks. I know in the IPL, they've, as part of their equipment check, that the on-field umpires actually put it in their pocket, and as the batter comes in, they'll do their checks. But that is a method that's been that started this year in the IPL, and looks like it worked perfectly. You'll probably see other leagues following suit. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Tula. Next question. Ansh would like you to explain the 9 wickets down at lunch or tea time law once again, please, Abdullah.
Yes, no problem, Hans. So the lawmakers brought flexibility into our intervals. And why did they bring in this flexibility? To try to maximize play. So, I mean, we've got lots of stats that shows usually, and no disrespect to the number 10 and number 11 batters, but they usually don't bat, bat for lengthy periods of time. Yeah, there's the odd exceptions, but usually they don't. Lawmakers recognize this, and they brought this flexibility into the lunch and the tea interval. So when the side is 9 down, but the side must be 9 down. And if they 9 down, either at lunch or tea, I'll just use lunch as an example, and let's say lunch is at 12 o'clock. So now we hit 12 o'clock, the final ball gets bowled, the umpire look at their watches, and they see it's exactly 12 o'clock, and the 6 legal delivery is bowled. And then let's say South Africa is 400 for 9. Do they take lunch, thinking that it is 12 o'clock? No. The law tells us you will not take lunch. Why? If a side is 9 down, but the side must be 9 down. Cannot be 8, cannot be 7, cannot be 4, must be 9 wickets down. And if they're 9 wickets down, the law tells us to save time, you will delay the lunch interval by a max of 30 minutes. We will give the fielding side the opportunity to see if they can take the 10th wicket within this max 30 minutes period. And let's say they take the 10th wicket, the fielding side takes it 10 minutes later. So at 12:10, the fielding side takes the 10th wicket. So now at 12:10, we will then have lunch. Lunch will be then from 12:10, and first ball after lunch will be bowled at 12:50. So what will now happen is there will now be a change of innings. So we will now incorporate the change of innings interval into our lunch interval, and this is how we're actually saving this, this 10 minutes. We're saving two overs if we take playing conditions, 3 overs if we take low into account. So, but you only get a max of 30 minutes. So in my first example, yes, the fielding side takes it within 10 minutes. So we'll have then lunch immediately. But let's say the fielding side is not able to take the 10th wicket within the 30 minutes. So now once we get to 12:30, fielding side is only allowed a max of 30 minutes. So once we get to 12:30 and they still haven't taken the wicket, now it's the end of the over. Now the law tell us, unfortunately, we've tried, but seeing that they couldn't take the 10th wicket, we will now call lunch at 12:30. Lunch will then be from 12:30 till 13:10. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Dula. Quite a few more questions coming through here. Azan wants to know, if a bowler starts his or her run-up and the captain stops him or her midway through the run-up and introduces another bowler, so they want another bowler to bowl that over, should we allow this? And will that over be considered an over for the quota of the bowler who started their run-up but did not deliver that first ball of the over?
Yeah, so Azan, as soon as the bowler gives his or her first step, that over has technically started. Lots of players think, yeah, you must deliver the first ball. No, the law tells us over technically starts as soon as the bowler gives his or her first step. So over has started. So now for that bowler, since the over has now started, now the captain wants to change the bowler. For that bowler to be changed, the bowler either needs to be incapacitated, or let's say the bowler needs to be injured or ill. Otherwise, since that over has started, that bowler needs to complete the over. And in the scenario, if the bowler, let's say the bowler started their run up, took took 2 or 3 steps, and let's say pulled a hammy, and now the bowler is injured, cannot then bowl that over. Now someone else now needs to complete the over. That over will count as one for the quota for that bowler. Even though, yes, you'll see, but the bowler didn't bowl a ball. Because the over has started, that will count as 1 over towards that particular bowler's quota. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Dula. Ansha's got a question on dead ball. When is it considered the ball is dead in a fielder's hand? Is it just the umpire's judgment, or is there a certain time period that we should wait? I think Ansha's referring to law 20.1.1. The ball becomes dead when it is finally settled in the hands of the wicketkeeper or of the bowler. So how do we define finally settled, Abdullah? Is there a time limit that we need to take into account?
So Ans, there is no time limit. This can be subjective. It definitely differs from umpire to umpire because it is that umpire's opinion. You'll find one umpire looking at a scenario and would say, yes, I think the ball is dead. Another umpire looking at the same scenario would say, I don't think it is dead. It is an opinion. There's no time limit. It must be 2 seconds or 3 seconds or 5 seconds or 10 seconds. It is in the opinion of the umpire. If the umpire feels that that ball has finally settled in the hands of the keeper or the bowler, then that ball is dead. If the umpire feels no, I don't think it's finally settled. I think the ball is still alive. That is the umpire's opinion. Then the ball is still alive. But it is a judgment call. It is an opinion call, and yes, it will differ from umpire to umpire. Yeah, you need to look at it. If you look at it, and according to you, you think the ball is finally settled, uh, i.e., then the ball is dead. Your opinion, then the ball is dead. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Dula. Rashid wants to know if this delivery is a no ball or it is a wide. A bowler, a right arm bowler around the wicket, bowls a ball, and it goes past the wide line of the right-handed batter on the offside. The ball hasn't bounced yet. It only bounces off the pitch after the striker's wicket. Is that a no ball or is it a wide? Abdullah?
So, Rashid, when judging whether it's a no ball or a wide, if the ball bounces off the pitch, your guideline is the striker's wicket, or i.e., the bowling crease. If it's off the pitch after the striker's wicket, it is a wide. If it's off the pitch and it lands before the striker's wicket, i.e., bowling crease, it will be a no ball. So your example, seeing that it landed behind the wicket, so it's behind the bowling crease, your example, that would be a wide, Rashid. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Dula. Azan asks, are the modes of dismissals in order of priority? Abdullah, you said that bold is boss. Is that why bold is law number 32? Court is the next boss. Is that why court is law number 33? And all the rest follow in order of priority?
No, Tom. If you look at the mode of dismissals, and there's 9 of them, they're in alphabetical order.
Correct. Azan, there's no order of priority. The modes of dismissals in the law book are listed in alphabetical order. Ansh wants to know the LBW points to consider. Abdullah, did you say that it should be a no ball? I'm quite sure you probably said it should not be a no ball.
I think I said it should not be a no ball, but if I did, I apologize. Please, everyone, it should not be a no ball. Because if it is a no ball, you can definitely not be given out LBW. The ball should not be a no ball. Over, Tom.
Great, thanks Tula. Next question, also from Ansh. She paid $30 today for her exam fee. Is that $30 for each attempt, or is it for all 5 attempts? Ansh, I'm glad to inform you that the $30 is for all 5 attempts. Please make sure that you do attempt your exam well within the end of the exam window period. The exam window period runs from the 19th of August, next week Tuesday, until the 29th of August. Do not wait until the 29th of August for your first attempt. Your exam fee pays for all 5 attempts, but remember I mentioned that if you pass your exam on your first attempt or your second attempt, third or fourth attempt, you will not get further attempts to try and increase your mark. So as soon as you pass, your certificate will be sent to training at wpcua.co.za, and I will forward it to you within 24 hours of you passing. You will not be granted any more attempts to increase or improve your mark. But to answer your question, Ansh, your $30 exam fee is for the all 5 attempts. Zishan asks if the highest mark will be accepted. No, Zishan, as I've mentioned, as soon as you pass, if your first attempt is 80% or more, then you will not get any further attempts to increase your mark. Ansh wants to know, how long do you take to complete this exam? Each attempt is a maximum of 90 minutes, and the exam window period is 10 days. Matepe asks, if you skip a question in the exam, are you allowed to go back to the question that you've skipped? Matepe, while Abdullah was answering one of the earlier questions, I went back into my profile and I went back into the level 1 exam, which I haven't yet completed. And I have noticed that, yes, you can go back and change the answer of a previous question if you need to do so. Okay, so obviously you can only go back if you have not yet submitted all your answers at the end of the exam. So while you are going through the 69 questions in the Cricket South Africa Level 1 umpiring exam, yes, you can go back and forward, back and forward, back and forward to change your answers. But you cannot, once you have submitted your exam at the end of the 69th answer, you cannot then go back again. Isanula asks, if a batter hits the ball in the air and it hits a bird in the air and rebounds the ball and it is taken a catch by a fielder, Abdullah, will that striker be out caught, or will we call and signal dead ball because there has been a disadvantage to the batting side?
Yes, Tom, the latter. Under the dead ball law, if the umpires feels that either side will be disadvantaged by either a person or animal or even an object coming onto the field of play, they have the power to call and signal dead ball. So in this instance, I will definitely intervene because the batter will be disadvantaged by this animal that came onto the field of play. So I will intervene as soon as that ball hit the bird. I'll call and signal dead ball, and anything that happens after that is irrelevant. Hence, yeah, the batter will then be not out. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Tula. Azan wants to know, do umpires get a salary or they are only paid match fees? So Azan, it depends really where you are and the level that you're umpiring at. In Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, we umpire club cricket matches in and around Cape Town. And because these are amateur matches, the umpires are not paid a salary. The umpires are paid match fees. The match fees range from 175 rands for an under 11 T16. I think they play 16 over per side matches. And our Premier League men's 50 over matches, umpires are paid 500 South African rands, which is about 28 US dollars. So it's not a lot of money at that level. If you do well at club cricket level and you are invited to Cricket South Africa tournaments, age group tournaments, and eventually you get promoted after being invited to and passing Cricket South Africa's national exam, which is the level 4 exam, then you can umpire provincial cricket. and there are 30 of us on Cricket South Africa's panels, which umpire Division 1 and Men's Division 2 professional cricket. The higher panel of those two is called the National Cricket South Africa National First Class Panel. There are 16 umpires on that panel, and each one of us, we do receive a monthly retainer. Some of us have 8-month retainers during our season, September to April, but we do also get paid match fees. If we move on to international cricket, the ICC elite panel of umpires, there's 12 of them. They get paid a monthly retainer in US dollars, and they also get paid match fees. So yes, the higher you go, you do get a monthly retainer, which you can maybe consider a salary, and you do also get paid match fees. Those match fees, they vary from province to province, from match to match, from country to country, depending on the level of the match. That will decide how much an umpire gets paid. Azan also asks, if lunch is scheduled at 1200 hours and the over ends at 12:05, when will play start again? 12:40 or 12:45? That's a straightforward one, Azan. Lunch will always remain the scheduled duration. The scheduled duration of a lunch interval in a test match is 40 minutes. So if lunch starts at 12:05, then the next session will start at 12:45. Another question from Azan. Is there any time limit for a session in laws or playing conditions? For example, a session cannot exceed 150 minutes. Abdullah, are there such limits in laws or playing conditions of test match cricket?
No, Tom, but the umpires, big part of their job is, especially if play was interrupted, due to inclement weather, they will always try to even out the sessions. They will never try to have one short session and then the next session be a long one. They'll take into account the time left, and they'll try to, as best possible. There's no exact science. It's just depending on the situation on that particular day. But the rule of thumb that they use is they'll try to make the sessions equal, not to have one long and one short session over time.
Thanks, Dula. Ansh had a question. Is the exam open book, and can I refer to the internet or the law book? Yes, Ansh, the Cricket South Africa Level 1 umpiring exam is an open book exam. You can refer to your law book. You can refer to the full 380 slide presentation that is part of your course material. You can also refer to the revision slides that I will be emailing to all of you tomorrow. You can use any material to help you to pass the exam. However, as mentioned, please keep track of your time. So if you're going to try and research every single question, you probably will run out of time. 90 minutes is the time limit for the Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam. There are 69 questions. So if I say 90 divided by 69, you have 1 minute and 3/10 of a minute for each question. What is 3/10 of 60 seconds? It is 18 seconds. So you have on average 1 minute and 18 seconds to answer each of the 69 questions for you to complete the exam in the allocated 90 minutes. Azan asks, Abdullah, please can you explain a wicket falling less than 3 minutes before the lunch break, or less than 3 minutes before a tea break, or less than 3 minutes before the end of the day's play?
Yes, Tom, I can. So Azan, when we get to, and I'll use lunch as an example, but the same principle will apply to the others. So when we get to lunch, and let's say in our test match, lunch is 12 o'clock. So we first have a law that states that if we get to our scheduled lunch time, let's say it's 12 o'clock, and we midway through the over, we first need to complete the over before we can take lunch. That's firstly what the law say. Complete the over, then take lunch. But there's one exception, and that exception is, and what you're referring to is, if we get to less than 3 minutes to go to our scheduled lunch interval and a wicket falls or a batter retires. I'll use an example to illustrate this with our lunch being at 12 o'clock. At 11:58, a wicket falls. So now what do? It's not 12 o'clock yet, still 2 minutes to go. So what do we do now? And this is where this particular law comes in. If a wicket falls less than 3 minutes to go to our lunch interval, we will take our lunch interval immediately. So at 11:58, when that wicket fell, and seeing that it's less than 3 minutes to go to lunch, we will take lunch immediately. Lunch will then be from 11:58, and the first ball after lunch will be bowled 40 minutes later at 12:38. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Abdullah. We have gone through all the questions and comments in the chat box. I've just left one last request, is for all of you before leaving the meeting room to please all complete the course evaluation form. It will be much appreciated. There is one hand up in the meeting room. He's always patient. He's always waiting. He's got a few questions for us, no doubt. Rifat, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Tom. Good evening and good night from me.
Yes, Rifat.
I have a question that I have missed out. Probably, I think that in the when the batsman played batting side, a batsman get injured and get off the field. When the batsman return again for batting again.
When can a batter resume his or her innings after having retired hurt?
Example, suppose South Africa 2 down and one batsman after that one batsman get injured and out of the field. When does the batsman resume the play?
Abdullah, when can an injured batter resume his or her innings, please?
So Tom, is this a penalty time question, or is this a when the injured batter retired?
The batter became injured while he or she was batting.
Yeah. Okay, not a penalty time. Okay.
No.
So Rifat, so in your example, let's say South Africa being 2 down, and let's say I'll use Temba Bavuma was batting, and then Temba got injured. Temba then left the field to get treatment, and then let's say Tristan Stubbs then came into bat to replace Temba because of Temba's injury. So now Temba's in the dugout or in the change room getting treatment from the physio. After 20 minutes of treatment, Temba is now fine, ready to go. But remember, let's say Tristan Stubbs and Aiden Markram is now batting at the crease. So now for Temba to resume his innings, he needs to wait for one of those batters, i.e. Aiden or Tristan Stubbs, to either be dismissed or for one of them to retire before Temba can go back in. Temba cannot now say, okay, I'm 20 minutes, I'm now fit again. Tristan, please come off the field. No, unfortunately not. Temba needs to wait for either of the two batters to either be dismissed or for one of them to retire before Temba can go bat again. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Dula. Rifat?
One more question about nine wicket down in the test match. Suppose 9 wicket down in the last day. Suppose the match will end 5 p.m. and in 4:30 South Africa 9 down. It's match deciding moment. Normally, laws tell us the extra 30 minutes will give him, but is it allowed to end the match with 5 p.m. or give the extra 30 minutes to the fielding side?
Abdullah, on day 5 of a test match, if South Africa is 9 wickets down, do we extend the play for 30 minutes?
It's match deciding and match.
So no, Tom, not on the last day. That 30 minutes extra time refers to day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. On day 5, there are other sets of playing conditions that comes into play, where seeing that it's day 5, it's your last day, you need to bowl a minimum of 90 overs in the day. The last hour cannot start until you've bowled 75 overs. Only once you get to 75 overs, then your last hour can start. Did I answer the question, Tom?
Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you. Next hand up, Sundaresh, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Yeah, Tom and Abdullah, I don't have a question, but I would like to thank you both for this amazing job you're doing. So thanks a lot.
You're very welcome, Sundaresh. Thank you for joining us for the course, and all the best for the exam and your umpiring career. Next hand up, Ansh, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
You can hear me? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I hope you can hear me. So my question was, in the exam, all the questions will be according to test and more day cricket, or will there be any modern day cricket included?
So Ansh, the Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam is law-based. And as Abdullah explained in our very first lecture, that the laws of cricket are very similar to test match playing conditions. So no, there are no questions based on limited overs cricket. There's no free hits. There's no, there's only laws of cricket as you will find in the law book and as you will find in the presentation that we have sent to you on the course materials. I hope that answers your question, Ansh. Next hand up is
Yes,
Isanula. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you. I'm really appreciated. I have refreshed my knowledge, but I have the level 1 certificate, and I'm desperately waiting for the level 2 lecture and to participate in the level 2 exam as well. So thank you.
You're welcome, Isanula, and we are grateful to have umpires from Afghanistan joining us for our level 1 course, and we shall see you at our level 2 course, because all you need to do to qualify for level 2 is to send us your level 1 umpiring course from Afghanistan or from the ICC, and you will be registered for the level 2 course, and you will receive the course material and logistics email on Monday, the 25th of August, exactly 1 week before the level 2 course starts on Monday, the 1st of September. So I'd like to take this.
Thank you. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that.
You're welcome, Isanullah. I don't see any more questions or comments in the chat box. I see one more hand up in the meeting room. Prince, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Oh, please can you hear me?
Please
Hello?
repeat.
Can
You're very soft and sound very far away, Prince. Please speak closer to your device.
you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead, Prince. I can just about hear you. Prince, I'm not able to hear you anymore. Do you want to type in your comment or question into the chat box, please? And we will read it from there. Next hand up is Rifat. Rifat, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Yeah, all the question in exam will be or true or false, or it will be your multiple choice question in exam.
They are true or false questions, and there are multiple choice questions in the Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam. So both of those options will appear in the Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam.
And can I pay for the exam fees with MasterCard? I have no account to transfer in the South Africa. Can I pay MasterCard, dual currency?
Yes, so with the PayPal link that I have sent on all the emails, when you click on pay now or send money, then you will be able to use your credit card or debit card with a chip to make payment into the PayPal account. If that does not work, then you can email or WhatsApp me separately, and we will find another means of payment for you to make Rifat.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Prince, I don't see you typing anything into the chat box. Do you want to try and unmute your microphone one last time to speak? Otherwise, we hope to see you at level 2 on Monday, the 1st of September. Prince, go ahead.
I think when we were going through the exam, there was one particular question. It was around an appeal that an umpire may consider a batter out when there is an appeal. So, but I think we do know that there are certain dismissal that doesn't necessarily demand an appeal, like maybe a vote. So I would like to get some further explanation or clarification on that particular question. What does the law say about that?
Okay, so Prince, when a batter is out bowled, then no, the umpire does not need to give the batter out, because the batters will look back and they will see that their stumps have been broken, and they will simply leave the field. If, however, maybe you are playing without bails and possibly the batter does not hear or see his or her stumps being hit by the ball, then they will not walk. In that case, then the umpire will need to give the striker out, but they will need to have an appeal from the bowling side. Okay, the bowling side will at first celebrate, and once they realize that the batter is staying at the crease because they don't think that they have been out bowled, then they will turn to the umpire and they will appeal for the striker to be given out bowled. So as per law, all strikers or all batters will not be given out by any umpire unless there is an appeal. So there I have given you how and why there might need to be an appeal for out bowled. Great. I'm glad that you've learned something today, Prince, and I hope that all of you throughout our 7 lectures have learned a little bit of the laws of umpiring. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your attendance and your interaction. And with this being our final lecture, I would love it if all of you who are able to switch on your cameras, please switch on your cameras so that we can all wave goodbye to each other and that we all know what each of us look like. And so we all know when we see you on television umpiring in a World Cup final, I know that guy. Oh, that's Rifat from Bangladesh. Or that's Isanullah from Afghanistan. That's Prince from, I think, Nigeria. So once again, thank you to all of you for your attendance and your interaction. I wish you all the best for your level 1 exam. And I hope that you will all pass and join us for level 2 starting in September. Thank you very much. I will be emailing all the details tomorrow, as well as sending a recording of this lecture. Have a good week further. Thank you and goodbye.